Today, we're going to talk about securing a borderless enterprise, and hopefully, we can cover a few things that of interest of everybody here. So this is my agenda. Nothing to it is except unleashing the power of your security stack. How do we do that? Extending the protection to support your digital transformation and improving incident response time through extensive integration. How organizations are really addressing these type of subjects. As you guys know, while we go through the digital transformation that everybody is nowadays is talking about, we have been, talking a lot about the technology and what technology we need to use. But however, what's really driving this is really the business. How do we care for our customer? How do we apply these things, this technology, to service our customer in a different way? So, for example, if you take what do you do today to take a taxi, you go from point A to point B? How would you have done this in the past, and how you're doing this today? So today you would just basically pick up your phone, dial, and the driver would know where you are, who you are. You would know the same kind of information about your driver, and then ultimately you're doing the same thing except you're doing it differently. So technology is really the vehicle that really gives us a better customer experience and better, service for our customers. And then on top of that, how do we address our go-to-market? How do we, branch out to other areas that we need to service our customers? And how do we transact with our, supply chain? And how we make that easier in terms of managing those type of transactions. And finally, the productivity that we need to get from our employees in terms of how do they perform their job. Today, with the COVID situation, we have a lot of our employees working from home. How do we make sure that they are connected and working properly while also securing those users that are out there working from home? So for all of those type of things, we're using technologies like SD-WAN. We're using technologies like IoT devices. Each one of us have multiple devices today that we're working with. We're migrating applications into the cloud. So we've seen organizations doing cloud-first type of initiatives where they're deploying SaaS applications and deploying, data centers into the cloud. Moving to the services to the edge, where the branches really need to have that survivability. And then so you're going to see more and more organizations moving into cloud deployment and multi-cloud environments, where 80% of those organizations will be deployed, have deployment into the cloud by 2030. Maybe 50% of the enterprises are expected to adopt technologies like SD-WAN by the end of 2021. Billions and billions of devices coming in and connecting into the internet, and that ultimately, require us to have a different type of architecture, involving our architecture into a different model where the dedicated WAN circuit, the MPLS, are used to connect the edge today, where we need to move away from that and use technology like SD-WAN. These old deployments are becoming more and more difficult to service our customers and adding more complexity into how we need to service, a different type of customer that we have in this day and age. So all that manual configuration that you have to deal with, all that security, centralized security, and your security stack that is in your data center that is being, stacking up those security tools in your data center is becoming more cumbersome and more, taking the traffic, backbone the traffic into the data center for every single thing or application that we need to access becoming much harder. And so therefore we need to transform and get rid of the MPLS cost, for example, and get rid of the those type of backhauling experiences that we have, and therefore we're seeing a lot of organizations moving into cloud deployment, cloud utilizing SaaS applications, and with that, we're gonna have experience a lot of challenges, and because of all these devices coming into the network, because of this borderless, if you will, parameter that we no longer have a border parameter in the data center, we need to address the security risk that is in place as a result of this explosion of diverse environments that we have, and the scarce network that we're in. So with that, what we used to have is that clearly defined parameter, and we are slowly, you know, um, seeing that disappearing. Um, so that becomes much more of a concern for us. If you think of shadow IT, the use of unauthorized applications such as, you know, a Dropbox, for example. Those are the number of ways that customers and users are going after, and this is why data becomes also a concern in terms of data exfiltration, and network intrusion becomes a critical thing to basically address. And with this borderless enterprise, we are, facing multiple challenges operationally. So the solid security tools, siloed security tools that we have, and not talking to each other, too many alerts that we're receiving in the network. Our cybersecurity skill set needs to actually change. We need to address this very quickly, because now we have a different kind of skill set that we require to address the multi-cloud environments that we're in and how we secure them. The manual investigation processes that we have in place are no longer something that we can live by, because those many alerts that we're receiving, we need to automate them and handle them differently, and remove a lot of that manual intervention that we have part of the everyday task that we do. So from that perspective, I think the to secure a network nowadays, you need something that gives you visibility and automation, a solution that sees every device on the network, applications, users, and users across the network, to address to give you visibility over your virtual workloads, and you're deploying cloud applications into a multi-cloud environment. So therefore, you need to be able to have that kind of visibility from that perspective. We are going into a containerized solutions, and deploying them into remote offices, for example. So from a protection perspective, that traditional network, is or traditional security that you have is no longer feasible. You need protection against sophisticated malware attacks, or like DGA or fastflex attacks. For example, you can use DNS as a signal for security events. You can provide that pervasive or inside-out protection using that combination of high-quality threat intelligence and machine learning based analysis. It can, you need to have a protection that provides inside-out security, if you will, that can protect anything, from Amazon workload to everything in between. And with that, you really need to use something that can reduce cost for you by getting threat intelligence that give you contextual information that you can derive remediation from very quickly. Another thing that we need to address as an organization is basically in order to support this complex network and security environment, we need to move from this silos mindset and get rid of that challenge very quickly. So you can achieve that with having real time visibility and gain actionable network intelligence into every ever-changing infrastructure that we live in today. So from that perspective, up-to-date threat intelligence becomes very important. Open API solutions, both inbound and outbound, also becomes a factor. Out-of-the-box integration that supports the cloud deployment and next generation environment is becomes essential for us to have as an organization. And then scalability, where you're able to reduce um, uh, the need for deploying expensive security everywhere. And and from a perspective, of remediation and how you can quickly remediate when if you have a security operation, for example, how efficiently you can do that, removing 80% of the false positive of incident of compromise becomes essential, because as your network becomes diverse and your border becomes more exposed, you need to be able to react to those instances of compromise very quickly. So the impact basically of having a solution that is with the right threat intelligence that you need, with the right threat defense that you need to have in your environment, and having a diverse source of threat intelligence becomes very critical. So you understand what is a true positive and what is a false positive. So the benefits for such a solution that allows you to aggregate intelligence and be able to push that intelligence into the rest of your ecosystem, so that you can have consistency and consistent policies. So you're able to collect the right type of information into your SIM solution, and then you're able to prioritize better to solve these IOCs much quicker. Maximizing the resources by giving back the time to the security operation and threat intelligence team, so they can do other things that they would like to do. So in summary, basically, you need a source of proper contextual information to fast remediate those issues that you have. You need a solution that gives you a proper ecosystem integration to enable your security orchestration and automation, and then the threat intelligence that needs to be optimized for your SOC, so you're able to remediate much quicker.